Like, did you know Pudge is in 40% of games?
Yeah.
40.
Yep, and he's terrible.
There's like 120 heroes or something, and the hero that's in 40% of games has like a 42% win rate in pro level pubs. I think that a large amount of people not enjoying the game is people literally just not having fun on their favorite heroes.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
I'm blaming Valve for the only reason that people are leaving Dota is because Pudge isn't good.
Welcome to Alchemy Answers, episode 62. I'm joined by my co-host and sometimes friend Jenkins, other times enemy, depending on the day, depending on the whether we've been winning or losing our pubs is mainly what determines whether we're friends or enemies.
Determines almost everything in my life, to be honest.
Yeah, fair, sad but fair. That's just how it goes.
My parents don't message me without looking at my. It's like, okay, let me go to Dota Pro Tracker. Oh, wait, I'm not on there. Let me go to Dota Buff and check. Oh, he lost. Okay, I'm not going to send him a message today.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to ask him to come clean his room because he'll just freak out on me and potentially secede from the family. So that's just that's just a Dota player's life. Anyway, should we get into the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. So first we have SDFS25. A patron. The neutral items tier list video was highly informative and entertaining with the delivery through your usual flair of language. I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment. You've good English. That's good English. It gave us an additional perspective on the worth of the items. How about topping it off with what a neutral item is good for? What's good for who and why in the next video? I could do that. That's a good idea. Just like this item is like, for instance, if you get the Philosopher's Stone, for example, on Outworld Devour, I play with a buddy of mine called Monster Pig. He's I think Chinese American player. He's super famous in China apparently for like playing OD, playing Invoker, and he's so greedy. He's the greediest mid player that you can possibly imagine. And the Philosopher's Stone drops, and he goes to the CM and he's like, "Give me item, give me this item." And I'm always just thinking like, okay, man, this guy is so fucking greedy. He's a typical mid player, just wants the GPM. And what I didn't realize is how much mana that thing actually gives. If you have max orb on OD, then the Philosopher's Stone makes you hit for 20 extra pure damage. So that's pretty decent because pure damage. I mean, it does give you the minus attack damage, so it is kind of stupid still. But the Faded Brooch is a better example. That straight up just gives you like 20, 22 or something like that pure damage on OD, as well as the move speed. So this has like added benefits for OD and not really any of these other heroes where the raw mana is kind of worthless.
Sure, but it also kind of offsets his weak farming ability is what you're trying to say, in addition to giving the mana.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I personally like that item just because I think move speed is amazing. It like stacks with Windlace, it stacks with boots.
Oh, now you're talking about Faded Brooch. I was talking about Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's the 60 GPM is still pretty good. It's just that on OD, like the minus damage doesn't really matter like it does for other heroes. It's like picking it up on a Zeus or something along those lines.
Dude,
so yeah, I could do that.
I had a great Philosopher's Stone experience today, where I picked 5 Doom because there was a Doom spammer on the other team, and I've been playing a lot of Doom myself.
You're using Dota Plus. I see.
And so I'm just a Doom doing Doom things, being tanky, trying to like give some space to my Drow. And then come 7 minutes, the Philosopher's Stone drops, and they give it to me because I'm a position 5, and position 5 gets the Philosopher's Stone according to most pub players. So here I am as a Doom with Devour and a Philosopher's Stone, and sure enough, by the end of the game, I was massively 6-slotted and completely carrying my team. Felt pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty nice item to pick up. I definitely have. I have to admit, with the tier list for neutral items, it's hard. It's hard to rank them. And oh god, funny story. I saw Bulldog used my tier list creator, the neutral item tier list, to make a tier list, and I was sure that it was mine because the text for the tiers was exactly the same as mine. And I went to tierlist maker.com, whatever the hell their website is, and I searched Dota 2 neutral items, and there are 3 possible ones you can choose. There's one that's just called Dota 2 neutral items, and it just has like a picture of a neutral item. There's one called Dota 2 fart neutral items, which is mine.
yours.
And it has a picture of Donnie from like college or something. And then there's another one, which is another just Dota 2 neutral items with a picture of a neutral item. And he picked the one with Donnie, and he used that to make his list. And then because he made one, Gork made one as well.
Yep.
So now
yours.
it's like this. Yeah, it's this trend. And they're probably using this one with a picture of Donnie that has fart in the title, and it's under the. Okay, the funniest thing is it's not even under Dota 2. It's under the animals category of the site. And they said they could like ban you for doing that. But I didn't care because I was just using it for one video. So I just wanted to do it for the memes. But now it's like trending that people are using this like animals category thing to make Dota a Dota 2 tier maker. It's so funny. God. But yeah, the one thing that I've realized from these other people making the tier lists is that everybody's got a different opinion on what item is good from the neutrals. Like all of these lists are so different.
Yeah.
Like both Bulldog and Gork rated the what's it called? The repair kit as like dog shit.
Mhm.
And I was playing with CCNC the other day, and he was like, "This item straight up does not belong in Dota. This should be in fucking League of Legends or something." And it's like, so he's like saying basically this is the next item that's going to get removed.
Yeah.
And yet Gork and Bulldog rated as shit tier or like middle of the pack tier. And I also think it's broken. So it's interesting to see just like based on the experience that everybody's had in pubs, like they rate these items completely differently.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, and it kind of depends on who it's comboed with too, right? There's so many permutations of how these neutral items can be used in a game. Like we saw it, I think, a couple times at the minor where it was like repair kit plus a lich or repair kit plus a treant. It was just like,
oh Jesus!
All right, well, this entire push is now impossible for the next like 2 minutes, just because there's no way we can break high ground into this. And I guess if you haven't encountered that in your pubs or something, there's just like, obviously the item seems kind of terrible if you don't get that exact sort of use out of it.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess in NA there's a lot of treant getting picked.
Yeah.
So it's every game. It's probably the highest out of all the regions. I know people pick a lot of tree in other regions too, but I think that's probably a big reason I think repair kit is so broken. Is because with tree and lich, which are like the 2 most popular 5s in NA, it's not possible to push. You have to kill everybody.
I think universally though, people think that the shovel is like a top tier item.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I was very close to putting it in S tier. I believe I said that in the video. I was very close. I just wasn't 100% sure about it. Because when I made that list, there was only like 1% of people would use it correctly. Like they'd run around and basically like salve people, which is really annoying. It's legitimately really annoying. You just have like infinite sustain by spamming the shovel.
You just get so much, not even from the bounty runes, you get so much value out of it just because it's like, oh, I have like 12 TP scrolls, so I can just use my TP scroll off of cooldown.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you get a 2-pack of TP scrolls, so it's like 100 gold per whatever the cooldown is.
Yeah.
Or a bounty rune, which depending on the point in the game can be like 500 gold.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The kobold is kind of dog, but I have seen people get item drops from the kobold.
Yeah,
they'll just be like stuck in their base, and they'll use it in fountain. They'll get like a I don't know, like a let's see, like a prism sphere or whatever the goddamn that item is called.
Spell prism, yeah.
Spell prism, yeah. They'll get some like sick item from it and then defend high ground or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, Jenkins elevated. Do you guys still do live coaching? To be honest, I probably will be doing live coaching soon. We've both have had a lot of stuff to do.
Yes.
Like we're making some content for other actually I think I can if you go to
we're both just like trying to expand out of just doing Dota Alchemy stuff, and it's taken up a lot of our time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, still some Dota stuff for sure. Like if you go to gameflip.com, you can see that we have like 12 videos or something on there for their little, content section of their site. They want to do like some hub where you can go like learn a game and then buy skins for it or whatever it is. They have a pretty good idea. But anyway, yeah, it's been busy. But with that being said, I do have like a lot of like students that I would like to coach that I just haven't really had time to do it. But I guess that's like I suppose in like business, that's when you would like raise your rate if you don't have like time to do something. And then if people don't want to pay that rate, then that's just like the equilibrium isn't there. The supply and demand aren't meeting, and then that's okay.
Right.
You end up in the same position, which is doing no coaching. But yeah, I should get back to coaching. I've just been kind of procrastinating it.
Yeah, I also enjoy it. I just have not really had the time or motivation. I'm trying to focus on some of my own personal development, both in Dota and out. And I kind of feel like I'm not at a place where I feel comfortable coaching people currently. And so I just haven't been doing it.
That's reasonable. I think that's pretty reasonable too. I feel like that every few weeks where I'll be losing. I'll feel like my understanding of the patch isn't really that great. And I'm just kind of getting carried by I'm getting carried almost by just like instinct of having played the game for so long.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can kind of sit at a 50% win rate while playing like shit for a while.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll become obvious, but you can, stick to like one hero and sit at a 50% win rate and not really understand the patch that well.
Yep.
And sometimes I feel like that too. 19 viewers, new thing doesn't seem to work. Well, the new thing is going to be posting it on YouTube. It's
Also, this is literally the first time we've done it, so there's absolutely no habitual viewers tuning in at the moment.
Our theory for anybody that's interested in, what it's like, I guess, to make YouTube videos. I don't know why you would be, but let's assume you are. Basically, our theory is that on YouTube, we think that the live streaming is a different system altogether.
It's not contributing to our searchability on YouTube, and it's actually kind of screwing us in terms of our overall watch time and click-through rate. So
yeah, we've had a couple of people who have pretty good success in terms of like other games on YouTube tell us that like, these streams might be screwing your with the algorithm just because it's a completely different system. Because it's like their streaming is like trying to compete with Twitch, and their videos is a completely different part of the site. Anyway, Sensational. Hello, I'm looking at you. How's it going? Okay, let's see. So this is Id the Magnificent. He says BTW, ID or LD is pronounced with a short I sound. I'm going to be honest. I was really trying to think reading this question what that meant, but I have no idea what a short I means. I'm very not educated when it comes to languages. But he said like the Freudian id. Oh, okay. So it's Id the Magnificent. I see. Is that short I? Is a long I like I or E?
Yeah. And
okay.
Is the short E. Or short I.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Id the Magnificent. Sweet. Okay, I know you guys rate Winter Wyvern as a good position 4 and as a mediocre position 5. Donnie, did you rate Winter Wyvern as a mediocre position 5? Excuse me, Donnie? How dare you? The biggest one is that she has no movement speed, so it's difficult to do anything with her once the wave has been shoved into my offlane tower. If I leave my offlaner solo XP, there feels like there's a little that I can do mid. It takes me longer to get back to lane. Additionally, you guys...
I have Winter Wyvern as S tier position 5. I don't know what you're talking about there, bud.
Mediocre position seems yeah. I don't. Maybe that's like a prior list. Maybe it's from my list where I was ranking all the heroes. Possibly. Maybe I didn't. It was near the start of the patch, and I didn't really understand 100% all the heroes, obviously. Additionally, you guys have said multiple replay reviews that she's great at taking over the safe lane once the core can no longer be there because her Q provides survivability and her W allows her to push the wave. This is true. This is very true. My understanding is that, okay, if I'm missing any reasons for this, please tell me. Well, okay, one thing that I can think of is another reason why it's so hard to dive a Wyvern is like the Q, she can fly over trees, right? But then also, if you do dive her and it's like multiple people diving, she just drops an ulti on you, and then the enemy team TPs in. So she has this ability to like set up a very devastating team fight for the enemy team. You have to be extremely worried. It's basically like diving an Enigma with a black hole. So you got to be really careful to dive a Wyvern, and then she can also push out the wave. So it's really the whole package. My understanding has been that around this time, the position 4 should still be roaming, and the slow position 5 should be performing this role. So why isn't Winter Wyvern considered a good position 5 and a trash position 4? I would say it's good in both. Once again, going back, Donnie said he puts Winter Wyvern in the S tier. As a position 4, you can make up for the lack of mobility by buying items. Like you have the net worth, and that's also true as a position 5. If you're pushing out lanes, you get a lot of net worth that way. So if you really feel like you need to have a lot of mobility, you can build into mobility items, and that's fine. I don't think Winter Wyvern's like particularly immobile just because of how the Q works.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Wyvern is actually one of the most mobile and slippery position 5s in the game because of Q. You have free pathing. You have the ability to go anywhere, and then it's very, very, very easy to get a blink dagger almost every game on the hero because of your GPM talent and your wave pushing ability. So,
right, the GPM talent, yeah, that's also an important factor.
So I find that basically every game I end up with Aetherland's blink, and that's kind of all you need on the hero to be super effective in every fight. But yeah, I don't know where you're getting the idea that the hero's bad as a 5 and a 4, because it's not. It's good in both roles.
I love Wyvern, man. I think Wyvern's incredible right now. I think that hero's incredible. Super fun to play too. There's a lot of really gimmicky shit you can do with Wyvern. You can go like Meteor Hammer and do some like crazy team fight setup. You can get travels and push all the waves. You can get Orchid and be like a right clicker. It's really fun. Okay, so Rookski says, what do you do when you go on a massive losing streak? Well, Donnie and I are both experts of this. So after a decent winning streak, playing the same heroes, etc., can't work out. Why? Why is this? My mental state is positive. I just feel like I can't work out how to adapt my play style to a lower tier of play. I've dropped 800 MMR since 7.23, and some of it initially was calibration, and then I regained it, and then lost most of it recently. Was 3.2K, now I'm 2.4K. I've dropped to 2.6 and climbed back to 3.0, but then I subsequently dropped 600 in 2 weeks. I actually peaked at 3.5K solo. I'm a mid player too.
This sounds very similar to the patterns that I've experienced in the past. Very, very similar. And I think a lot of that was due to a couple factors. First of all, it was not respecting the people that I was playing against and with is a big factor. Whether it's you drop a bunch of MMR and you're suddenly at a much lower MMR than you're used to playing, and you think that everybody there is trash.
These guys are shit. I'm gonna solo carry.
Yep. Or you've been winning so much that you're just like, this game is easy, and even though you're playing against much better players than you're used to playing against, you're still like, this game is easy, and so you keep doing stuff that is too overly aggressive, or you're just like trying to outplay every situation.
That's my recent problem.
Yeah, and I think that these two things like routinely show up in my own patterns of when I go on these losing streaks. And then the other thing is that once you start to lose, and it's like it. I actually saw this really great quote the other day. I think it was a tweet where somebody was like, "Dota is the only game where you can win like 15 games on a hero and then lose one and suddenly lose all faith in that hero and never play it again," or something like that. And it is weird where you'll have like an 80% win rate on a hero in a patch, and then you'll get stomped one game because maybe you get counterpicked, maybe you play like shit, maybe your teammates feed, something like that, and suddenly you're just like, I can't play this hero anymore. It's terrible.
This hero's garbage.
Yeah.
He just got countered. These people are just gonna counter me from now on.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say kind of I have a similar experience. One sec, where is it? Okay. So yeah, so okay. A lot of the problem is just like stemming the bleeding.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of the time where the reason that you were winning is something that you didn't really at the time realize was why you were winning. It's like you don't realize what you had until it's gone, sort of thing, where you might be going into the games when you're on the win streak, when you're getting up to like 3.6K with the mentality of like, I really want to play this game. I enjoy this game. I enjoy this hero. I'm spamming this. I'm good. Like you have all of these positive, very positive like feelings towards the game, and then you start losing. And then you start thinking like the negative things, and you're just thinking about the MMR, and you're thinking about I need to win, as opposed to I'm enjoying playing this hero. I don't give a fuck if I'm going to win. I'm just going to play really well and have fun and just try to, style on my opponents. I think a lot of it is an attitude thing. And the most important thing to me is make sure that between games, and you don't even need to keep track of this or anything. I'm literally just saying, like, take 5 minutes between a queue, in a queue, like between games, and think like, what was it in the last game that like really lost me that game? I don't want like teammate blaming or anything like that. Just think about like what you could have actually done to win the game. And a lot of the time for me, it's like, okay, I should never have died in this game. They had no reason to ever catch me. And yet I still died a few times. Like what would have happened if I just didn't die? Maybe I'd have 3 levels advantage and I'd win that team fight later and we'd end the game. Or maybe I'd just be so huge that I could solo carry. But I'll never know because I just died so many times. But a lot of people just grind. They just keep going, keep losing. They don't change any of their thoughts on like how to actually play the game. And when they start winning, it's when they've changed those thoughts. Make that like a 3-game loss thing instead of losing 20 games to figure that out. That's all you really have to do. Id has another question. He says, so I would like to play pause 5, 3, and 4 in that order. Whenever I play 4, I question when I should pull and overthink it, so I tend not to play pause 4. You guys seem to be of the opinion that the offlane should basically always pull. I find it challenging to pull from the offlane, but can consistently do it in the safe lane. Is that a mental thing, or is it more difficult from the offlane? No, I'd say it's just more difficult on dire safe lane or
Dire
offlane. Dire offlane. Radiant safe lane is easier to pull. Like
I think they're both easy. I think offlane's easier to pull because the wave naturally meets in front of the safe lane tower. So it's like you don't even have to push the wave necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
It just like automatically does it for you.
I would just say go into a lobby and just pull like 10 times in a row and you'll be good.
Yeah.
That's it. And yeah, cutting trees. Cutting trees is important. You need to cut the right trees that are blocking your path. Like if you're on the Radiant offlane, if you're on the Dire offlane, I should say, cut the there's like that little patch of trees to the left where there's like some on one side and then some on the other, and people kind of chill in the middle, and that's like where support will sit to harass you. And then the camp has some trees to the right of it as well. You cut the little trees in that little nook, the little tree nook there, and in the middle, and then that way you can pull like into the middle of the lane instead of having to pull diagonally, because obviously we've all learned from the Pythagorean theorem that pulling diagonally is going to be longer distance than pulling
any of the other sides of the triangle
horizontally. Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah,
well, I mean, the least distance is going to be the same, but you're pulling diagonally into a vertical creep wave, whereas you can be pulling horizontally into a vertical creep wave. So it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to pull to the left or to the right than it is diagonally.
And like so a to the power of nth is the same as I to the power of 0, which is the third factor of 69. And that is why pulling is so effective, because when you're not allowing the other team to 69 you and you're 69ing them, then you end up with a very, very big experience advantage in 69ing, which allows you to actually snowball the lane into much bigger things.
Right. And if you turn the calculator upside down too, it'll say boobies.
Right, exactly.
So good, very good question, Id. Thank you for that. Okay. Average Peen says, either of you ever thought of joining the RD2L? I assume that's the Reddit Dota 2 League.
Mm-hmm.
The highest players like rank 200, so both of you could. It would also be some cool marketing because a lot of people know you guys and you could stream the games or something like that, since the people in them are 2K to 7K or something. I'm way too addicted to pubs to play any sort of free league. I didn't even play
Reach.
the Reach because I was so addicted to pubs and getting my rank up that I played one day of that and then I quit, which I liked it. I mean, maybe I didn't like it, but I don't like pubs a lot of the time either. It's like it didn't seem that different, but I went back to the pubs because I just wanted that number on my screen to be higher.
Yeah.
So that's my problem.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like, I don't know. If I'm gonna play Dota, I'm gonna be playing it for rank at the moment. I just don't. I never play on ranked. I probably never will play on ranked.
Neither do I, man. I always tell people like, dude, you should play unranked. You should play unranked. Practice on unranked.
Yeah.
I never do that.
Nope.
I just go lose ranked.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
not-
Is like if your main goal is to play is to gain as much MMR as possible, then you should play on ranked to learn new heroes. But it's also okay to learn new heroes in ranked if you think that the games are higher quality, or you won't try in unranked. So it's like you just have to be okay with losing MMR if you're gonna win it. Learn a new hero in ranked, and I think both you and I have accepted the fact that new heroes will lose us between 200 and 600 MMR as we learn them.
Oh, certainly. What is my rank? I'm at like rank 100 and something right now, late hundreds. I just had like a 15 loss streak though, so I
Nice.
was much higher rank. I just really fucked up.
Yep.
So that's such is life though, you know.
I'm below
You went
below 5k now. I've lost I think 800 MMR this patch. It's unfortunate.
I'm at least I'm taking like a little bit of solace at least in the fact that I'm still like 7k. But that might not last very long at this rate. So
Yeah, I think that I've just had a very big misunderstanding of how to play the 5 role in this patch. It's weird because the 5 role has changed, I think, more than any other role in the game.
yeah, it's a weird one right now
in the current patch, especially in pubs, because it's like, I don't know. I'm still coming up with my theory, but I think basically as a 5, if you play it as the old 5, where like you kind of win your team the first 20 minutes and then they kind of have to carry you, it just doesn't work anymore because the other team's going to have 4 to 5 cores and you have to play as such in a pub, otherwise you just lose.
I had like 10 losses in a row yesterday. It was so bad. What do I think about Pangolier? And what do I think about Lukey?
He's like rank 9 or some shit now, isn't he?
Well,
I guess everybody's in Germany.
Come on. No. It's not that.
Oh, is he support rank 9?
Support rank 9, and he plays on his Smurf. He rank sits on his main. Don't get me wrong. He's good. I think Lukey is literally the best Pangolier on the entire planet. He's better than Ice.
Mm-hmm.
He's the single greatest Pangolier to ever live. But you can't rank sit and then be like, yeah, it's my legit rank. Nobody's ever gonna know that. But he's like, I'd say Lukey is probably like, with how good Pango is right now, which isn't that good, is like rank 50, 60 player. If Pango is a top hero, like one of the best heroes in the game, he's like top 10. But that's the nature of, like, if Pudge is good, for example, my rank is always way higher.
Right.
But Pudge is complete trash. So my rank is quite low compared to the average that I would sit at in a lot of patches. That's just
that's true. I remember when Pudge was super strong that one time. You were like top 50, just absolutely destroying constantly.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a theory. I actually have a theory that like a lot of the people that are leaving Dota and saying that Dota is like shittier or whatever in the patch 7.23, a lot of people are complaining about it, matchmaking, everything. I have this theory that literally none of that is true. Like, you take Dota as it is and then just apply any patch to it. And I think that add neutral items, basically. Everything. It doesn't matter. I think Dota is going to be just as good. It's just that a lot of the fun heroes that a lot of people play are complete trash right now. Like, did you know Pudge is in 40% of games?
Yeah.
40.
Yep. And he's terrible.
There's like 120 heroes or something. And the hero that's in 40% of games has like a 42% win rate in pro level pubs. This is one of the most figured out heroes in the game. One of the heroes that almost everybody mains in the pro scene. Like, every offlaner has Pudge as like one of their mains, every mid laner, and it has a 40% win rate. So my theory is that I think that a large amount of people not enjoying the game is people literally just not having fun on their favorite heroes.
Yeah,
I think like a lot of the strong heroes just aren't necessarily the most fun ones. I mean, unless you're like a Snapfire main, that hero's pretty fun. But there are some. But for me, it's like I think if you give me a patch where Pudge is strong, where Hook is good, where he still has his identity of being able to like suicide and be this crazy motherfucker running around the map causing chaos, if you give me that in any patch, I will enjoy the game. Any patch. You can throw neutral items in, you can remove talents, you can add, every hero gets their talents at level 1, whatever. Add as much crazy shit as you want. I'm going to play Pudge and I'm going to enjoy it. But playing some hero like some generic offlaner like Tidehunter or Underlord, that's not like playing Pudge. That's not as satisfying as playing, oh, I'm tanky. Come get me. Oh, you're hitting me and I'm taking less damage because I have damage reduction. Wow! What a fucking amazing player. Pudge, it's like they're fucking sniping people with hooks and shit, doing all this cool stuff. Oh man, it's like 360 no scoping in COD. It's just the most satisfying thing. And I think a lot of the satisfying fun heroes are dog shit. Lion's another hero, very popular hero. He's in like 20% of games, which doesn't sound like a lot compared to Pudge, but that's because it's Pudge. Arcord is in like 0.03% of the games. It's ridiculous. Lion sucks as well. I do think he's more fun with the finger buffs.
Yeah,
but
that's why he's so picked, is because of the finger buffs.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is very interesting. I also feel like most people are just really, really afraid to go through that like pain period of learning a new hero, because what I find is that basically every hero in Dota is fun to play. If you play it like 20 or 30 times and get to kind of know the hero, you'll find ways of playing it that are very fun.
Not like Pudge, though. Not like Pudge, man.
I don't think Pudge is fun, personally.
I'm blaming Valve for the only reason that people are leaving Dota is because Pudge isn't good.
I mean,
the only reason. That's my theory.
Put that on Reddit.
Entire reason.
Put that on Reddit and see what happens.
I will. I know it sounds like an extreme opinion, but there's a lot of people in the past who have had extreme opinions. It's not like extreme opinions have ever started wars or anything. So
yeah, definitely.
Relax, guys. It's not like we're going to imminently be fighting World War III or anything soon.
But just imagine if we got to a point where hero. Okay, if we look at the pick rates, Visage, Chen, Lycan, Brewmaster, and Beast are the lowest. Imagine if we were in a patch where those 5 heroes were the best heroes. How many people do you think would not play the game anymore?
See, I'm like half joking, but it's not a ridiculous concept, is it?
No.
Like I feel like it's actually not a super ridiculous concept. So much of Dota is just about the heroes. That's the basic mechanics of the game.
That's like all these hero-based games. It's like people gravitate towards certain heroes. They gravitate towards certain heroes in Dota, League, Overwatch. Like the identity of the game is actually just the heroes that are in it. It has nothing to do with like the mechanics or the goals of the game. It's the heroes that are in it that attract people. I mean,
in most brackets, people are just running around and throwing spells at each other anyways.
Exactly.
That's I mean, not to, no pun intended, but that's kind of the hook to get you into the game, is how fun the heroes are. And then the nuance of it is something that keeps you going. The competitiveness is something that keeps you going for a long time. It's like, with Cuphead, for example. I don't know if you've played Cuphead, but you see the game and the art style, the way that it's styled, like those like 60s cartoons or whatever, like that gets you hooked into the game because it's like, wow, that looks really interesting. And then you play it and it's really fun. And the mechanics are very good. The boss fights are fantastic. It's like a 10 out of 10 game. And if the game sucked, like the art wouldn't keep you in. But if the art wasn't really good, you wouldn't play the game in the first place. It would just feel like a generic kind of like boss mode game. Or it would appear like that, even though it's not. So it's like that's just games. It's like there's things that keep all levels of players playing, and it's all important. It's all important.
I'm looking at these trends of the pick rates right now, and I look at every single one of the top like 10 or so heroes, and they're just so incredibly unique, or there's like a piece of them that's so incredibly unique, and like, wow, that was super cool. It totally makes sense. Like Pudge, the hook. The whole, like, the fact that you're Pudge, you get super, super tanky, very easy to play in that regard, where, like, you don't have to be great at Dota to have 5,000 health and just be unkillable.
And it still feels fun. It still feels fun to play Pudge.
Right. And then you have Lion, who has this, like, crazy, like, you blow people up and you get a bunch of extra damage. That is super cool. Slark, like, you steal people's strength and you also have infinite scaling. also very, very cool. Very easy to play the hero, in my opinion, because he has so much getaway and he's got a get out of jail free card. Then you have Ogre.
PA has the crits. I think people
Right.
really like the idea of being able to one hit people.
Exactly. Invoker obviously has a specific niche of people that really like the hero, which is just complexity personified essentially.
I'm glad I mentioned the Snapfire as a hero. I didn't even know Snapfire was in the top picked heroes.
Yeah.
But this hero genuinely feels very, very fun to play. It's you shoot the shotgun, it's fucking super cool. Mortimer's kisses, just blowing people up in fights, and you're clicking it, trying so hard to just nail everybody. It feels like a little really fun mini game.
Yep.
I love Snapfire. I think this hero is extremely well designed.
Me too.
I mean, not to shit on the people who designed the Void Spirit by any means, but I think Void Spirit is so much work. Snapfire, everything works really nicely together. It's like everything is her character is great. All the spells are really satisfying. I do wish that you could use the ultimate with the other spells a little bit,
right?
But with Void Spirit, he's just kind of I guess he's like mobility. He's just insanely mobile.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun, but.
Yeah, but I mean, these other ones too, like Legion, you've got the duel. Everybody wants to have the most damage in the game. It's just such a fun mechanic to have in Dota.
That's true.
You've got Wind Ranger, who's just this really annoying but ultimate assassin almost. Again, it's a very easy hero to play in terms of you have a get out of jail free card. You have something that just maximizes damage on one person, which everybody wants. Then
she's just the typical good archer character too. She's exactly what you would expect. She has
same thing with Sniper. Sniper is kind of the he's the good gun character, right? He's super long range. He has this high damage thing, super easy to play. And then you have the fun heroes too, like Rubik and Shadow Fiend, who have this kind of interesting little nuanced mechanic. And then Earthshaker's up there as well. Of course, everybody wants to hit a massive Echo Slam. And you just go down the list and you just look at these heroes and they just get less and less, I don't know, fun, I guess, to play, or harder to play, I think is maybe a better thing. Because Storm Spirit's super fun, way less picked. Void Spirit, Ember Spirit, very fun to play, a lot harder to play well. And then there's the heroes that are just straight up bad. Those are not being picked very often because they're not fun, because they're very hard to pull off. But I think as you got on the list, you just have these harder and harder heroes to play, and then no surprise at the bottom, you've got strictly micro heroes. The bottom 6 heroes, or the bottom 6 heroes are all micro heroes, which is really interesting.
I was talking to Brax the other day, and I asked them this question because I was on my 10 loss streak. I was like, hey man, just tell me I've known him for a long time at this point, so it's I trust them to tell me if I'm spouting some bullshit. Basically, I was like, hey man, I'm in a mood. Just tell me if I'm bullshitting on this, because I want to actually know. I don't want to be bad. I want to actually know. And I asked do you think this is true? Are all of the heroes that are really good in Dota right now so much better than the shit tier heroes? So much more than before. So that if you're picking any of the heroes that are bad, it's going to be so much more game losing than before. And he's like, no, you're totally right. If I pick any, he's ranked 10 or something. Mm-hmm. He's if I pick anything that's not top 10 meta, it's an insta loss. It's impossible to win. He's only picking the pucks. And the reason that I asked that is because when I was making the position 4 tier list, I was looking through all the position 4s that I had ranked to be D tier, mm-hmm. C tier. And I was like, okay, I need to make sure that these position 4s are not good. I was checking win rates, to be honest. I was checking win rates to see how pros are doing with them. In Earth Spirit, 40%, Lion, 40%, Leshrac, 40%, Elder Titan. These heroes that are they're not bad. They are. But then you look at the top heroes and it's 55% over 2,000 games, or 53% over 2,000 games, or Crit has a 70% win rate with Rubik or some shit like that, mm-hmm. where it really feels like the bottom heroes are so much shittier than before. Just because the OP heroes have ridiculous mechanics. Like you have Puck, who's just phase shifting and attacking people, and then Waning Rift is like for some reason a blink now, and then Dream Coil lasts 6 seconds, does like 2,000 damage, BKB piercing with an Aghanims that can be consumed. Like think about all the shit that's in Dota now. You have all these neutral items, you can consume Ags, Roche drops 4 items. Like things have gotten wild.
I do
Things
think
have
that the
gotten
power creep is
crazy.
kind of insane at the high end. Like Doom, I actually feel like Doom is impossible to lose with. Like you can play him in any position, and he's just so good. Like Scorched Earth is basically like 1.5 radiances, like just as a skill that also gives you movement speed and the ability to gap close so you can land your ultimate, which literally deletes a hero from the game. And then you have
Yeah.
like Devour, which just is a free Midas at the same time. Like what? And then you're like, hey, I'm a Juggernaut, and I can like spin and TP out when the enemy comes and ganks me. But there's like 15 or 30 different BKB piercing disables in the game now, so I actually can't do that anymore.
They need to do something crazy. They need to do something crazy like make the well, we talked about this before, but like make the crit do like an like one Omni Slash or something like that. Like Jug is too normal of a hero to function, I think, in like the meta. Like he's not like crazy enough when you have these like Snapfires and Void Spirits and like Pucks with Desos and Rapiers and shit running around with like Spell Prisms. There's no way.
It does feel like we're almost at that point where they need to make a decision where either every hero needs to just become insanely OP, or they need to like heavily nerf the power creep that we've started to experience in the game. You have to go in one direction or the other. You have to bring everything back to sort of like a more reasonable level of power, or everybody needs to just be fucking broken.
I think I had this. So obviously they can't keep adding stuff to Dota. That's not at a certain point. Nothing matters if you keep adding stuff. That's what happened in World of Warcraft. There was so many things to do. You could do pet battles, like literally Pokemon was in the game. There was archaeology, so you could search for stuff, herbalism. There was like 7 or 8 different continents that you could go to that were all massive. There was 1,000 different mounts that you could get, so nothing really mattered. When somebody had a cool mount, it's like you would just have another version of their mount. And I think that's why a lot of people wanted classic WoW, was because it was just back to the point where it was very clear what was good and what wasn't. There were clear constraints in the game, and I think Dota is going to have to go in a similar direction where they're gonna need to remove stuff, and they have in the past. That's one thing, is that it's not like they're not aware of that. Valve is not they're not like a new game development company or something. It's not like they haven't done it before. Ice Frog's been doing this for like 10 years now or something. So they have like literally removed items. They removed PMS, they removed Aquila, things like that. And I think they need to do that. I think like maybe they've removed talents. And I had a theory that like if they remove talents, maybe what they could do is just take all of like the cool talents and add them as like a base for every hero.
Yeah.
Where like maybe it scales with the levels, like Monkey King ult, for example. Obviously it'd be really broken if the level 1 Monkey King ult was as huge as the 25 one. Maybe make it scale with levels. Something along those lines, where it's like, okay, the level Monkey King gets level 18, gets his 3rd point of the ultimate. Now he's got this like ridiculous ult.
Sure.
But it would make everything broken, but it would also remove the complexity of talents, which would allow for other new systems to be added to the game without just diluting things. That's what it is. It's diluting shit. Like you add Diet Coke into something and Sprite into something. You just keep adding random flavors, and all of a sudden you have Dr. Pepper. You just have this thing that's like, I don't know what the hell this tastes like. You could basically mix any 10 pops together and it's gonna taste like this shit. It's just weird. It just isn't anything. It tastes like nothing. You mix all the colors together, you get brown. I do like Dr. Pepper actually too. I was just making a joke at the behest of the Pepper family.
If you want to sponsor us, Dr. Pepper, we are looking for a beverage sponsor. So just putting that out there.
What's Jenkins's rank? Why people keep asking? I'm like 150.
People are obsessed with MMR, bro.
I'm 7K.
Me and you included.
Don't talk to me, pleb.
How many more questions do we have? We're at like 45 minutes already.
Dota nobility. Let's see. Okay, so we have 3 or 4, something like that.
Cool.
All right. Average Peen says support pause for Zeus level 10 talent, 3 mana regen or 250 health. I think 3 mana regen every time. Can you give situations in which one you should take? Also, 15 talent says to always take 1.5% for his passive over movement speed, but I like the speed. That's wrong. I don't think you should ever. I don't think you should always take the 1.5 move speed or sorry passive. The reason that people take the passive is because if you ult, it does the passive damage, and then if you use Nimbus, it does the passive damage now. So it's actually quite good if you're going for an Aghanim Scepter. But some people just prefer the move speed. I see plenty of people doing that. They'll go for the move speed just for like positioning, for running around the map. Like they'll get travels or something. So it's fine. And I think the level 10 talent, you almost never want to go the 250 health unless you're going like an insane amount of mana regen items. Like Yule Scepters, you've traveled, so you're going to get the Fountain regen, something like that.
I just don't like. Why do you need health on Zeus? Like, if you get caught, you're dead.
You're fucked anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Which the movement speed kind of makes sense because it's like if you get caught, you're dead. But if you have 30 movement speed, then you might not get caught. Right. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Okay. Hockey Laner says, "Why the f have I lost 600 MMR?" Well, tilting. All right, moving on. I know Hockey Laner too well. Okay, positive vibes. On a serious note, I'm currently playing a lot of puck in situations where I am in an even or winning mid lane, but my side lanes are having a hard time, and I know enemies have high impact cores that need to be shut down. Example, Drow and SF. What should be my decision making? Push mid and amp my own farm in the jungle, or push mid and rotate? I feel like the second option is often more correct, but the gank goes poorly. We end up getting farther behind. And going for the safe farm then going for the safe farm in the jungle. I would say, yeah, gank every time on Puck. Puck, Queen of Pain, you gank. Like, these are not farming heroes.
Do not jungle on Puck.
It's really inefficient to jungle on Co-op or Puck. Whereas these heroes, they have such mobility, you can just like TP to a lane, kill somebody, and then go back to the mid lane ultra quickly. So I would say that if you're ever struggling to have successful ganks in the side lanes, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I actually struggle with this too. I played Puck the other day. I was forced to play mid lane because some guy picked carry Omni Knight, and we had to swap the lanes to fix that. So I was mid, and I failed. I failed horribly because I just wasn't sure how to gank. But my take on it after I had failed in the game was not that I should jungle because I don't know, like, what if I fail the gank? It's that I need to go about these ganks better. Use smokes. Do it with runes. TP to the lane so they have no time to react to you, and then orb back to the mid lane. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can make these ganks more successful, and I would look for those on Puck as opposed to looking to go to the jungle, because ganks are so much more valuable than jungling. Just in general, like, you're gonna win so many more games from ganking because of how it snowballs the game, stops the enemies, helps your team get huge, which gives you space to farm in the future. But also Puck just like can't jungle for shit. So there's no point in doing that. Yeah, look for ways to do it better. Just watch your replays, and if a gank fails, be like, okay, I walked through ward vision here. I'm never ganking without TPing first in the first place. And that's what a lot of people are doing now, is that they're not walking to lanes to gank because you just walk through ward vision on like one of those billion eye spots that are there. So people will just TP to a lane, gank it, and then orb back to the mid lane. That's about it.
That's funny. I was just about to say you shouldn't TP because I feel like a lot of people in lower level pubs will just like auto TP to the lane that they think they're supposed to go to, and then they'll just be stuck down there and they'll be laning with another core because the gank won't go well. So I was gonna say, but I mean, really, the answer is like make your ganks better by looking at the map and being like, is this a viable gank? Is there mana on my heroes that I'm trying to gank with? Does the other team have a save in this lane? Are there more heroes that the enemy team is bringing down there already because they've already taken our other tower? Like, there's so many reasons that a gank can go wrong, and most of the time it's just people being unaware of what the actual game state is, and they're like, I need to make a gank, I need to shut down this hero, and then just go there without actually looking at what's going on. Like, if you think you need to shut down a drow, but the drow's already like level 12 and can kill you in 3 hits, that's not a good gank to make. You can't just go there and assume that it's going to work out.
Yeah, you definitely want to like look with your camera, get an assessment of what's going on. But a lot of the time it is just people walking through wards, and it's really obvious. And then you have that state where you have like 2 cores in one lane, and then nobody. Geez, man, I was playing in unranked the other day, and I had like literal 2Ks on my team, and I could see why people hate their teammates in that bracket. Let me just say it. I had people like, so I was TPing mid, and I had like a Huskar in a jug running to the lane that I was TPing to, as like a puck or something, and they just ran to it until the creep wave is dead, and then they just ran together in the jungle like one. Like for some reason they couldn't piece together that if I was TPing to a lane, that lane of creeps would not be farmable in just a second from now. They had to actually walk there and then see it die and then walk back somewhere else to farm, as opposed to realizing that like it was not going to be there when they got there. It's the weirdest thing. It's people have these like crazy expectations in like 2 to 3K. And then they walk together in the jungle and farm the same jungle camp.
Dude,
like,
it doesn't stop.
You guys realize there are multiple jungles. You can just go to different jungles and get double the farm. Come on.
It doesn't stop. It's like that in Divine. It's like that in Low Immortal. Like literally, it's the same shit.
I think it's less ridiculous. People will take like less time to realize like, oh, this is stupid, but they'll still do it.
I had a game yesterday where there was a dual lane against a Razor, and they were owning the Razor at like level 1 and 2. And then the Razor hit like level 5. And I quote you, my offlaner goes, I can't lane here anymore. We can't lane against this Razor anymore. And I was like, okay, so don't. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, literally look at the map and pick a different location and go there. He's like, fuck you. Stop telling me what to do. And I was just like, what the hell is going on right now? Like, dude, if you can't play there, which you just stated, do something else. Why do you think that you need to keep going back and just feeding this Razor over and over?
It's beyond me, man.
I was so confused.
People are masochists in Dota. Like they think that they're restricted to these things because they've played for a long time and they see that's like what other people normally do. But it's like, man, if something just feels like it's sucking, stop doing it. Imagine just like, I don't know. Imagine you're just like standing at like a crosswalk or something, and like the line for the sidewalk like only goes so far or something like that. So you're like standing within like some square that you're supposed to stand in, but then cars like keep running over your toe. And you're like, ow, this is literally breaking my toe and making me like, I'm not going to be able to use this leg anymore. Fuck, well, I guess I'm stuck here because this is where the line goes to.
Right.
No, just step back.
Literally.
Just step back, man.
Literally.
It's a line.
That's what happened. I was like, go somewhere else. And he was like, where do you want me to go? I was like, what do you mean? Make your own decision. You're an adult. And he was like, you're an American, aren't you? That's such an American thing to say. Dude, grow up. What is your problem? Just fucking play the game of Dota instead of expecting everybody else to carry you. Just don't understand what's going on.
I just can't fathom why people refuse to enjoy themselves on a video game.
I know. I don't get it.
Themselves through so much shit, and it's like, oh, why are my games so shit? It's like, dude, because you're trying to lane against like, God, dude. It's like Ursas that keep going back to lanes with Venomancers in them. It's like, oh, he's galing me. It's like, what do you expect him not to gale you? Like, it's his one spell that he has. Yeah. Excuse me. No, he galed me again, guys. I need help in this lane. Dude, go fucking jungle. Nobody's at Roche. Just go take Roche. You'd get twice the amount of experience doing that. Yeah, but this is my lane. Cool, dude. Just say it. Just say you're a fucking masochist. It's fine. It's 2020. Not 2020. I stutter. It's 2020. For God's sakes. You know what I'm saying. You can stick wooden splintered covered spoons up your butthole. That's fucking fine, man. It's your body. You have autonomy. It's 2020. Give me a break. Okay, all right, let's move on. Arboreal Phoenix says, hey guys, how the heck do you stick to 1 or 2 heroes and try to gain MMR? I've played almost 1,000 Phoenix games. As it has been said in the past, the hero gets to the point where he feels so versatile, can handle almost any situation. I feel like sometimes the flaws of the heroes also get amplified. Phoenix can't destroy towers. I need allies to break towers. If they don't, I lose. Other than getting Necrobook Vlad's AC Meteor Hammer, which I have done, but I digress. Often, most times, I really like to play with heroes that are strong in the meta. Okay. Oftentimes, I really like to play with heroes that are strong in the meta or just have fun with other heroes. Should I play unranked? I feel the games are just chaos. Anyway, thanks a lot. I think unranked is awful. Like they've
I actually kind of feel like unranked is unplayable.
I don't know. I had a support tinker on my team the other day when I was playing unranked.
People
he was
don't take the game seriously at all. I mean, which is fine. It's unranked, but like if you're going to unranked to try and practice, I just don't think it's possible.
It's not. It's for whatever reason it's gotten significantly worse. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Get a Smurf. I know that's like immoral or a taboo or whatever, but
yeah,
get a Smurf that's the same rating as your main account, which obviously would take some time. But I don't know. There's party queue used to be my answer, but there's very little. There's very little now.
Yep.
Maybe watch Dota games of these other heroes that you feel like, or something like that. You definitely want to do something to not bleed MMR when you're playing these other heroes. I know I say that ironically, and I have some serious problems with just picking stupid shit and losing. So
yeah,
it's
a hard one. I'm addicted to try and find the next meta or like the counter to the current meta. And I'll just be playing these like 40% win rate heroes, being like, I'm going to make this work. And 500 MMR later, I'm like, all right, I don't think I'm going to make this work. Damn it, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah, it's rough. Just I don't know. I don't actually have an answer for you. They've kind of ruined all the options for that, which I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Is it okay for one hero to die to get an outpost 40 minutes into the game if you have none? Yes, mostly.
40 minutes into the game? I don't think the experience matters as much then, personally.
Depends. Yeah, depends. I don't know.
I think at that point, it's like you're trying to take 5-on-5s for objectives.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Probably don't want to just like suicide. Maybe if you're like a pos 5 support and you don't want to fight anyway.
And you
depends
have
on
buyback.
Depends on the situation. Yeah, if you have buyback. Depends on the situation. I definitely snipe outposts on like Nature's Prophet and try to make space along with it.
Yeah.
But if you're anything other than like a pos 5, you probably don't want to. Shiver says, what do you think the best spots are for the mango tree?
Well,
so
T. Governor just made a video about this.
Did he? How long is it? How long could you make a video about a mango tree?
He made a 19-minute video about where to put mango trees.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, high grounds are decent. The only problem is it's really obvious that there's a mango tree on the high ground when it's just surrounded by mangoes. I honestly think a good place for it is just like literally in your base, just giving you, 70 gold every. It's just GPM. It's just a GPM tree.
Yeah.
But I suppose maybe you could put it in like the woods somewhere hidden where the enemy team's not going to find it, but it'd be useful for finding people split pushing.
Yeah, I think that you can use them really effectively as like a ward in trees if you like cut your way in trees. Basically, that's what his whole video was, is like you need to cut yourself a couple trees in and then put it like somewhere where people aren't just going to randomly walk and find it, and then it just gives you like a permanent ward, basically.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think that's really good. Like having a tree to play, having vision to play around like that is actually possibly broken.
Yeah, I think if you're like a treant, you should always have the mango tree because you can just walk into the middle of like who knows where and just put a ward that will never die.
Like so many times in a Dota game, people are like hiding in trees, especially around like the side lanes. People are hiding in trees.
Yep.
To try to scout for or sorry to like just try to split push, and like having something in there to scout them permanently is pretty broken. Like that's pretty insane. And then it's somewhere that your like team can run to as like a place where they can feel confident that there's nobody around there. Like if they ever have to juke around there and they have the tree vision, it's really good. Having vision to just play around is like broken.
Yeah, obviously the Roshan spot is also quite good.
Wasn't that removed? You can't put it around Rosh anymore?
Maybe. Like you used to be able to put it like inside the wall where you couldn't see it, but it still existed.
Oh, they removed that? That's good.
I don't know if they did. I think they did. But
I hope so. So.
You can still put it outside the pit. If the other team is in Rosh and you put it like right next to the pit, you'll still get vision into the pit, which is also quite broken.
Oh, I did see somebody put I think it was Miracle. He put the mango tree on his high ground in like the dire jungle, but it also scouted Roche just barely, so we could see if Roche was moving, aka they were taking Roche. And I thought that was really good. And it was also like hidden amongst some trees. That was pretty dank. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's if you're like a hero that farms, like let's say you're an alchemist, for example, I think putting it in your jungle to scout for people rotating in to kill you is actually quite good because you also get this constant mango to refill your mana while you're trying to farm the jungle with your abilities.
That's true. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Mango tree's broken, honestly.
It is really good.
If you're not just wasting it. I feel like people just waste it all the time.
They're like, let me put it on this regular eye spot that gets dewarded every 30 seconds.
Yeah, well. That's not gonna do anything. Okay, so let's see. Ganksy says, is there ever a time where mango tree should be placed in base as vision? Well, we already kind of talked about that. I think a base mango tree is quite good, but
yeah,
a mango tree within trees is probably the best. So, like whatever's gonna make it stay up for the longest.
Yeah.
Does Jenkins not stream on Twitch anymore? Not that much. I spend a lot of time making videos, so it's harder to stream these days. Thoughts on Doom mid? I noticed on Dota Buff that has a 59% win rate, albeit a small sample size. I think it's great. Sumail spammed it for a while. The guy that I play with, Monster Pig, he complains about Doom for a while. He was making me pick Doom every game because he didn't want to get Doom mid. You just push the wave out with Scorched Earth, and then jungle, then wave with Scorched Earth, then jungle, then kill the guy that you're laning against with Doom because it literally deletes a hero. Pretty lame.
Seems good.
It's good. Opinion. It's good. It's very good. It's very good. Doom carry is very good too. This hero is good in literally any role. Yep. Doom is, other than Puck, I would say Doom is the best hero in Dota. Doom and Puck are just insane heroes. Anyway, that's it. We're done. We're done with the questions. It's been a long one. We went on a lot of tangents.
We did, but we also got some great questions.
Yeah.
If
it's been a good week.
You guys want to ask us questions and you're listening to this for the first time, check out the link below, patreon.com/Dota Alchemy, where you can support the channel. You can support us, mostly Jenkins, because he spends way more money than I do on diet soda. And you can also ask us questions every single week on this show, which will be streamed live. This week was on my channel, which is twitch.tv/Alchemy Elevated Alchemy. Jesus Christ, what a terrible plug.
That is confusing.
You know what? I'll put the link in the description below. Also, link Jenkins's, which will probably host the next one. And we're just going to try this out for a couple of weeks and see how it goes, putting the VOD on YouTube as like a piece of content instead of a live stream, and then live streaming it on our own Twitch channels. So thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week for some more Alchemy Answers. See you later.